Now we are dealing with the origin of the universe, right? The universe is nothing but a limitless expanse of space. It is a limitless expanse of the space around the earth, which is around the earth, is called as a universe. It consists of 100 to 400 billion galaxies. So it's nothing but billion is 10 to the power of 9. Now, what is galaxies? Galaxies is a group of galaxies contains nebula, and then we have stars, right? Then we have a massive black hole at the center. Massive black hole at the center. It also consists of dark matter, dark energy. Now, what does universe consist of? Universe consists of METs, matter, energy, time, and in space. Right. Now, the speed of the sound in air, it is 343 meter per second, whereas we say that the speed of the sound in vacuum is 0 meter per second, because sound cannot travel in the vacuum. We are not dealing with the speed of light. The speed of sound 343 meter per second in air, whereas the speed of the sound in a vacuum is 0 meter per second. Universe is a limitless expanse of the space around us. It consists of solar system, stars, galaxies, etc. The origin of the universe have three theories: steady state theory, pulsating theory, Big Bang theory, right? Steady state theory has been proposed by Fred Hoyle. So the steady state theory has been proposed by Fred Hoyle, right? Now, a universe in a steady state, that is the size of the universe and the mass of the universe remains constant. This is what the steady state theory states. The size and then the mass remains constant. Is constant. When the size and the mass remains constant, there is no beginning and then no end. That is why we say this theory as steady state theory, right? Now we understood that steady state theory is being proposed by, first is Fred Hoyle, right? The universe is in a steady state. What does steady state means? The size and mass. Two things we are considering. The first one is size and the second one is the mass remains constant. When it is constant, there is no beginning and we say that there is no end. No beginning and no end. Fred Hoyle, the size and the mass remains constant. No beginning and no end, right? However, there is an observable limit for the universe that has remained constant within the observable space. The stars and the galaxies are expansion. Within one limit alone, within one limit, right? Alone you are allowed for expansion. So we say that there is an observable limit, right? There is a limit. There is an observable limit for the universe. The limit has remained constant. The limit has remained constant, right? This limit within which the galaxies are expanding. Continuous expansion. When some stars and galaxies go for unobservable zone, the creation of new star and galaxies at the same rate of unobservable zone is when the size and the mass of the universe remain steady. So what they are trying to say is that we know that the size and the mass is steady. There is no beginning and no end. Let us consider this. Then there are few galaxies. These galaxies in a universe are expanding. When they expand, they go out of the space and they become unobservable. Right? They go out of a space and they become unobservable. Now a new galaxy, it starts to expand and it fills the space of this galaxy, the lost galaxy, which became unobservable. Therefore, it is remaining constant, because as galaxies expand, they become unobservable, and the space is being occupied by new galaxy. So this theory is by Fred Hoyle. Steady state theory, where the size and then we say as well as the mass remains constant. So for things being constant, we say that the size and the mass is the one which remains constant. And here we have no beginning and end, because only within an observable limit they are allowed to expand. Observable limit, this is what we call it as a observable limit. Only within this limit the galaxies or the stars are allowed to expand. Only within the observable limit for the galaxies to expand. When they are going for continuous expansion, they become unobservable. Right? Now when a new star and a galaxy is being created to fill the space at the same rate of unobservable zone, that is why their size and the mass remain steady. The new star is created at the same rate. Here we have to mention that it is the same rate. Right? Just a final recap over here. This concept is steady state theory of the formation of universe, origin of the universe. Right? In the steady state theory, it is proposed by Fred Hoyle. The universe is in a steady state. It means that the steady state means that size and the mass remains constant. Therefore, we have no beginning and then no end. According to Big Bang theory, it all began with a very tiny point of infinite density, right? Of infinite density and infinite temperature, right? But according to the steady state theory, there is no beginning and end, because there is an observable limit within which the galaxies and the stars are allowed to expand. When they are having continuous expansion, they go to the unobservable zone. There is a creation of new star and galaxies at the same rate of unobservable zone. Thus the size and the mass of the universe always constant. The overall size and the mass of the universe always remains constant at any point of time. The universe has no beginning and the end and is always expanding. There is a continuous creation of new stars and galaxies at the rate where the old ones become unobservable. Now we go for pulsating theory is by Arthur Eddington. So we have the pulsating theory. This is by the Arthur Eddington. Right. What does pulsating theory states? That universe is continuously expand and contract. Right. This is expanding, contracting is what pulsating theory states. Pulsating theory is more or less related to Big Bang. Pulsating theory is by Arthur Eddington, whereas we have steady state theory by Fred Hoyle. Right? Pulsating theory is by Arthur Eddington. So the pulsating theory, which is by Arthur Eddington, whereas steady state theory is by Fred Hoyle. Pulsating theory is by Arthur Eddington. Right. Pulsating theory and steady state theory. The universe, it continuously expands and contracts like a pulse. Pulse, expansion and contraction. So it is similar to Big Bang, right? Let us decode this. It all begins in a single point. Explosion. Single point is facing explosion, right? Now it expands, but there is a limit and it cannot expand beyond that limit. Therefore it contracts. Contraction, expansion and contraction due to gravitational pull. Again to a singularity. Explosion, expansion, contraction, gravitational pull, and then we have the singularity. This is how we have this as pulsating theory by Arthur Eddington, whereas steady state theory is by Fred Hoyle. Right. Now let us go through this one. First a single point, right, as in Big Bang, and then we mention it is having before expansion there is an explode. That is when it starts expansion, where it achieves a limit, right? Once it has achieved a limit, it starts to contract. Once it contracts, it goes again to singularity. Here we need to mention the gravitational pull. Right. Once a gravitational pull is going, it becomes to a singularity and explosion. Now we have Arthur Eddington, who has proposed the pulsating theory of the universe. As per the theory, the universe expands and contracts alternatively. It expands because of the explosion and contracts because of the gravitational pull. So we have the expansion and then we have the contraction. Right. It expands because of the gravitational push and it contracts because of the gravitational pull. It expands because of explosion, and once it reaches the limit, but the contraction is because of the gravitational pull. The universe is currently in the phase of expansion. Right. We have Big Bang theory by George Lemaitre in 1927. Now, just a small recap. We have seen the steady state theory by Fred Hoyle. Then we have the pulsating theory by Arthur Eddington. Now we go for the Big Bang theory by Georges Lemaitre. Right. Big Bang theory is by Georges Lemaitre. So we have the Georges Lemaitre for the Big Bang theory. Everything starts with a singularity approximately 13.7 billion years ago. So the year is 13.7 billion years ago. Georges, sorry, Lemaitre in 1927. Right. Now it starts in the Big Bang. And 13.7 billion years ago, the singularity 13.5 billion years ago. So they mentioned that the Big Bang theory has been proposed by Georges Lemaitre in 1927. There is a singularity, and this singularity, everything before 13.7 billion years ago, from the present, there is no particles, nothing. Everything was concentrated in a very single point, a singularity. There is no matter, there is no energy, there is no time, there is no space. This had an explosion. This explosion is a violent explosion, and the universe started to expand because of this explosion. Everything created. The earliest things to be created are force. We have God particles or the elementary particles, which led to the creation of other particles. Elementary particles comes together to form atoms, atoms to molecules, compounds, reactions which cause energy, stars, galaxy, and then we have the universe, right? First, the expansion is because of the explosion, right? Now we had a force. Then we have God particles. Basically, certain elements. Elements led to the creation of atoms. Atoms are forming the molecules and compounds. Now we have reactions taking place. For example, like nuclear fission, nuclear fusion, which gave energy, and subsequently the formation of stars, galaxies, and then we have the universe itself. So rapid that the explosion was very small, like 10 to the power of minus 30 seconds. Billions of light years of space was created. Theory is by Georges Lemaitre in 1927, but the proof is by Hubble. That is why we coined the term like Hubble Space Telescope, right? We have Hubble Space Telescope coined because of commemorating his proof work. Now, Georges Lemaitre in 1927 he gave a theory which was proved by Hubble. Right. Now the explosion was so rapid and it was very small explosion of 10 to the power of 30 seconds, right? Where billions of light years of space was created, right? Fred Hoyle coined the term Big Bang. So the Big Bang was coined by Fred Hoyle, who in himself was related to the steady state theory, right? Proof, not actual stars, it is the light of the stars, right? The proof is from the light of the stars. For example, we have electromagnetic radiation. Electromagnetic spectrum, the visible light color depends upon the frequency, right? Now blue has short frequencies, short wavelength, therefore long frequencies, right? The star located in the near has blue and a star which is far is red in color. Hubble, earlier some stars which were blue, now they are red. Therefore, there is a blue shift, red shift, right? Less frequency, wavelength is greater. Therefore, we have red. When the frequency is less, when it is very long, see, simple thing. This is, let us assume it as, sorry, let us go for blue color. When a star is nearby, let us have a star, right? A star is nearby, it is having blue. This is earth, this is star. So see the wavelength. The wavelength is short over here. Therefore, the wavelength is short. Therefore, we have frequency is greater. Right. The frequency is greater. Then we will be having red, where it is traveling for when Earth is far. We see the star appearing to be red in color. Therefore, the wavelength, this is the wavelength, right? The wavelength is large. Therefore, frequency is going to be small. This is the relationship between wavelength and then frequency. They are indirectly proportional. When the wavelength is shorter, frequency is greater. Therefore, we have blue in color. Less frequency, the wavelength is greater for red. Now, when the star is nearby, we have the blue color. Whereas the star is far, we have red color. This is what we call it as the wavelength shift or frequency shift. Red shift and then blue shift. This is evidence which is provided by the Hubble. The evidence provided by Hubble, right? A star located near, it is blue in color, whereas a star located far away is red in color. Now we say that the explosion was very small. It is of 10 to the power of minus 30 seconds, right? Billions of light years for creation of the space. The theory is by Georges Lemaitre, whereas the proof is by the Hubble. Hubble has provided the proof. Fred Hoyle is coined a term called as the Big Bang. Proof that not all the actual stars, it is the light of the stars. Emission from the electromagnetic radiation. So we call this as emission from electromagnetic radiation. There is emission from the electromagnetic radiation. Right. Most of the stars towards the red spectrum, so moving distance, they are moving away from the earth and other. The universe is expanding. This is an evidence. Right. Proof of the Hubble. Blue shift, red shift. At rest we have green color. Blue shift when it is nearby, and then we have red shift, it is moving away. Professor has given the proof in 1929. In 1927 we have Georges Lemaitre proposing the theory, whereas we have Fred Hoyle coined the term called as Big Bang. Right. And the rate at which the stars are expanding, moving is called as the Hubble's constant. What is Hubble's constant? The rate at which the stars are expanding or moving is what we call it as Hubble's constant. Blue shift is when they are coming nearby, and red shift when they move far away, and green when they are neutral, the color of the star. This is used for radio electromagnetic radiation. So we have this under the topic called as electromagnetic radiation. It is proposed by Georges Lemaitre in 1927. Theory according to 13.7 billion years. 13.7 billion years ago, universe was extremely compact, dense and not singularity. There was no matter, the space and no time too. 13.7 billion years, there was a cosmic explosion happened called as a Big Bang. From that time, the universe started to expand and it is still continuing today. First, the forces of the physics such as the gravity came to existence, and then elementary particles, molecules, force came into existence first. Then we saw, right, how the god particles, elementary particles came into existence. Atoms, molecules. Hubble in 1929 proposed that all the observable stars and the galaxies are moving away from the Earth. He discovered the phenomena through the redshift moving away from the Earth, and the rate of expansion of the stars is called as the Hubble's constant. That is the Big Bang theory. The spectrum variation of the stars may be due to the motion of the stars. The distance between the Earth and the stars are so huge so that the distance does not matter at all. The point where everything started is what we call it as a singularity.